You are listening to the Earplug Podcast Network, a Fanboys Inc. production.
Can you dig it, nigga, sucker? Ooh, yeah!
We boo you because you're both a couple of world-class international a-holes.
Welcome to the Faces and Heels podcast. You're here with Louis Perry, the Angry Geek, Inksling, and Jack Purcell. And tonight, we are not broadcasting from Gotham City, Louis, and we're not broadcasting from Bloodhaven. We're not even in Connecticut. We're not broadcasting from Hartford or New Haven, but we do have our special guests, Jay Onyx and Shawn Knyte, the Haven.
Yeah, I mean, the tag team scene, Jack, first of all, the tag team scene is so hot. It is on fire right here in New England, and that's how you bring these two cats on? I mean,
Okay.
have a little bit more oomph. I mean, more respect. I know. Look at Jay. He's like, yes, more oomph. Come on.
Put us
Let's
over,
go.
man. Put us over.
Yes.
You can do better.
I mean, you gotta do more.
You guys
gotta
go over in the next hour. It's going to be insane.
I mean, you gotta go.
Jack, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we have with us tonight the Haven.
That's more like it.
Yeah,
That is more like it.
yeah.
See, that's what you got to do. Do
All
that
right.
like that next time. Oh, we
right.
got a comment already, and it's from Eric. He says, "Good evening, gentlemen and Jack." What does that mean?
Eric?
I
Very nice.
don't- Okay, go ahead, Jack. The floor is yours.
All right. Well, first and foremost, we are super pumped to have you guys here because we really wanted to take July as a month to focus on tag teams. So the timing for you guys, as far as I'm concerned, from a fan perspective, couldn't be any better. And we're going to talk a little bit about some really breaking news in terms of Wrestling Open that I'm sure Louis doesn't even know. I'm going to scoop Louis on this one. But we know who you guys are going to be facing at Wrestling Open on Thursday now. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But if you don't know the Northeast tag team scene, shame on you. It's something you should at least be on IWTV checking out. But if you aren't aware, the tag team scene, and again, maybe you guys would challenge this, but just from a fan point of view, it seems to me like the tag team scene in the Northeast hasn't been hotter in a long time than it has in the last year. And I feel like you guys have blown up big time over this last couple months, especially with Wrestling Open. And I've seen some great matches at Wrestling Open, and I love it there. But you guys are being touted as having the greatest match in Wrestling Open history against some friends of yours, the Miracle Generation.
Yeah, honestly, so going on what you said about like the Northeast tag team scene being like, one of the best it's ever been. Honestly, I would hope so at this point. I would love to be a part of that conversation, And
He said, "I hope so."
yeah, I really would, of course, I'm not gonna talk down on our tag scene. I'm gonna say it's the best in any region, anybody who watches can, hopefully can vouch for that. But just us being part of that conversation, it just means so much, to us, because I remember, we used to always as teenagers, before we even trained for wrestling, just always talked about thought of being a tag team together, So it just we spent all these years like speaking into existence, you know, and just for people to be like, oh man, like the Haven did like one of the best tags right now. It's like,
Right.
wow, this is
Right. It's
You
crazy.
know?
This years in the making.
right.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
first,
sorry. Eric is back and says, first time I saw the Haven live was at the Big Jim tribute show. Oh, yeah.
Word.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you for making it out there.
Definitely.
Thank you, man. Rest in peace, our boy.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Eric, I don't know if you guys know Eric, but he seems to be one of the fans that almost all of our guests recognize. They know who Eric is, and it's awesome. He's a genuine, true fan, so it's cool that he's chiming in early with us here. But I guess for me, to back up a little bit, what's interesting is that you guys have such obvious synergy, and you kind of suggested already that you've known each other before you even started training. So did you guys grow up together? Like, how did this come to be? How did the Haven come to be?
When we first met each other, it was in a church. Yeah. His grandmother would force him to go. My mom forced me to go. So we all just like met up there, and well, we were working at a camp. Like, we were friends before our church opened up this camp, and then we started working there. And then one day we were just talking about wrestling and stuff, and I was like, yeah, you know, one day I'm gonna start training to become a wrestler, whatnot. And I was talking to Jay, and I was like, you know, like, you into wrestling? He was like, yeah. He was like, I thought about doing it when I was younger. I was like, you trying to be a tag team? Like, what up?
The funny thing about that too is like Shawn's the one who like really got me like passionate to wrestling again, because like when we like him and I were first like we becoming friends, like I was kind of like I was in tune with it, like I knew what was like going on, but I just wasn't like watching like weekly as I used to when I was like really younger. So like, and I wasn't really in touch with the independent scene as well. So he said that he's about to start training at a school in Connecticut. I'm like, we have wrestling schools here? What? Like, I was like completely mind blowing, and it's crazy how some things work, because like he got me back into wrestling, right? And then the security guard at my high school used to be a former like pro wrestler as well, and you know worked for PAPW. So it was just like I go to one of their events, I see him there. He's like, "Oh, dude, like, you know, so you want to be a wrestler, bro? Join this school." I'm like, "Wow, that's 15 minutes away from me and Shawn are at." So I end up telling him, and it's just like everything just kind of like just happened. Like it felt like, almost like for a reason, you know what I'm saying? Like just fate.
Mm-hmm.
Literally,
so
everything felt like it was for a reason. Like, there were a lot of things going on where it would be like we were the last ones to like do something, and then everybody else that was coming in, they wouldn't have those same opportunities. And it was like we were like just right time, right place.
Hey, Chris, how are you? Quick question. Who do you guys study? What tapes do you guys throw in? I mean, obviously you're a tag team. You're studying tag team tapes. Are you guys current? Do you guys go old school, New Japan? Who do you guys study?
We're all over the place, honestly. Like, when we originally started tag teaming, like our foundation was the Rockers and more like 80s wrestling and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And for me personally, I always like the Hardys, Motor City Machine Guns, Young Bucks. FTR is one of my favorite tag teams. A lot of different tags.
The first time I saw, I told you guys backstage before we came on the live stream. First time I seen you was at the last BST show, and I saw a lot of rockers in you guys. My first thought was like when you came out, and I'll be totally honest, I was like, oh, here's these two guys. You know, what is this? You know, another New Day, and all of a sudden you guys hit the floor, and I was like, screw that. I'm like, they're moving like Jannetty and Shawn used to. This is like incredible. You just totally blew me away. And then at the last Blitzkrieg show, you were pulling out more stuff. And it was like, Eric is just saying it now, you spend more time in the air than you did on the mat. It was just friggin' incredible. And I'll pull that comment up right there. So it's like, you guys are just phenomenal.
Oh man, thank you, Eric, as well. Another funny thing about that as well, like, same thing, like just going back to like we used to like talk a lot about like the idea of being a tag team, like the idea, like initially I wanted to really be a high flyer, but like as I kind of like got more in tune of like my interest in wrestling, I found like we just ended up switching. Like like Shawn ended up becoming the high flyer. I became like more grounded, more like power based.
That's really crazy because everything just like switched. I was the one that was trying to be the muscle, and he was supposed to be flying around because when we started, he was way more athletic than me, and I was like real chubby. So I was just trying to be more ground based and like put on a lot more muscle. But as I started working out, I just started getting smaller, and he just started getting bigger, and it was just like we took each other's place.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like watching you guys is like watching two ping pongs. You're like everywhere, and it's just amazing. And I can't wait to see you guys again. Jack,
So, I mean, where did you guys train? Because I mean, it's funny that you're kind of in the WWE's backyard, right? And you guys are in Connecticut. Did you train in Connecticut? And I mean, because I think of you guys as Connecticut guys, because I know you from Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and then even Blitzkrieg Pro when they were in Enfield. They do a lot of shows there. So I guess first, my real question is, where did you guys train?
We trained right in East Haven, Connecticut, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling.
Right
Mario
on.
Mancini, Paul Roma, like they taught us like everything that we knew. But not even just them, but like also like the veterans that we had there. Like we learned a lot from Richard Holiday, Chris Battle, Big Jim, and what I'm saying, when he was around. I'm sure there's like more people who we learned from as well, like along the way. But
yeah, everybody that came through their like trainings would just be like a family session.
Right.
Everybody was just there to help everybody fine tune the smaller things, the bigger things, help everybody out, put everything together.
And you guys mentioned being in the right place at the right time, and it's really interesting when you said that, because I thought about how I would imagine a lot of people in the position that you were in terms of timing might have thought like maybe my dreams of being a pro wrestler are shattered by the pandemic, because the timing must have been really odd for you guys. Like, what were you thinking when you're probably just imagining yourselves in front of live crowds? You might have imagined maybe a certain trajectory, but then you had to adapt. Like, what was that like?
We saw it as like,
bless you.
Thank you.
We saw it as the complete opposite of like, oh man, like it's unfortunate. Like, we in fact found this as an opportunity to get more wrestling, because like a lot of promotions, like they're like bigger established stars, couldn't make it because of traveling issues and stuff. So now it's like, oh hey, we're here, we need opportunities, need us, we're right here. And
Right.
like even with like it, of course it's difficult having like like no crowds there and stuff, but it taught us to adapt. Like at the end of the day, the show must go on.
Correct.
Right.
With that, one of my favorite questions that I've been asking all our guests in the past month: what was it like the first time you guys walked from behind the curtain and you saw a sign with your name on it? How did it make you guys feel?
It was really cool. The funny thing about that is I just saw an old video. I was just going through like my old photos and stuff. And I just saw an old video of like we were at PAPW and some kids were holding up a sign for us. I was like, that's real cool. Like I completely forgot about it. But it's like the first time, I honestly don't even think I remember the first time. Like just seeing signs or just like having kids and stuff come up to us and like basically they are looking up to us as wrestlers, and it's like we're just starting. Like so we're just trying to figure everything out ourselves. But these kids think we have everything together, and it's real cool. It's real cool.
Oh. All right, Jay?
In general, I just remember like getting started. I remember like for our debut show, I was like my stomach was just churning. Like I couldn't eat. I was like it was like a good nervous, but I remember just being like so nervous of like just like going out there. I just didn't know like what to expect. But it just like I always like would think about like my younger self who like when everything was still just a dream, and then like I'll get like this huge smile on my face. I'm just thinking about like, oh man, like I wish I could go back in time and just like show this to my younger self, because he'll be like so proud of, like he'd be like just running all over the place right now, so excited just seeing this,
All right, Jack, your turn.
How did you guys come up with the name The Haven? Was that something that just automatically clicked, or did you go back and forth? You guys argue? How'd that happen?
You're both laughing. This is going to be funny.
Do you want to tell them
I'll do it. All right, so we the Haven definitely wasn't the first idea. I'm keeping the other names in the vault. That might not come out. Maybe if we do a memoir, we might write about all the previous ideas we had. But I remember when it was like nearing our time to like debut, Paul and it was a Wednesday night training and House of Pain was there too. So like they kind of just called us to a corner. We're just like, all right, well, like you guys got any ideas for like your like tag name and stuff, right? And then we said the idea we had, and it was like no, like immediate, just no. And we're just like, what? Okay. So now we're just here like trying to think of like like a plan B. We never had a plan B. We just thought that, oh yeah, plan A, boom. So I think Shawn had like a whole list of like tag names that like for his ideas. So Shawn ended up coming with the tag team name with the Haven.
Nice.
What was the name they said no? Can you tell us or no? Rocksteady and Bebop.
No. You're muted, Shawn.
Yeah, Shawn, you're muted. No, he's not muted. He's just doing this.
He's speechless. We still
we can't hear you. No.
But the original, honestly, I'll say just to kill time, but the original tag name was going to be called the Omen, Omen. And like Paul wanted us to be baby faces, and he heard us like, nah, that name sounds heelish. But like, let's see.
I'm back.
There you are. He's back.
Yes, you are. You were ribbing us. I thought you were just going.
No, what I was gonna say, I said it's funny that you say Rocksteady and Bebop because Ninja Turtles is like my favorite of all time, like ever since I was a kid. So that's
okay.
Pop real quick.
Well, we got it out of Jay. We tortured him. We stuffed feathers up his nose, and we're pulling toenails out. So and he told us it was the Omen. We know. So where were you for your Shawn? Where were you for your tag partner? You were reading Ninja Turtle comics. That's where you were.
They pointed the guns at the camera. And said, you gotta tell us. And I'm like, I don't know how the bull's gonna go through the screen and hit me, but I didn't want to find out. So I just said it.
So how did it make you guys feel when you were like, yeah, our name is gonna be the Omen, and they were like, no, it's not.
It kind of put us in a weird spot because like we went through like so many names, and then we were like, Jay was like the Omen, and I was like, why would we be called the Omen? And then, like I looked up what it meant, and it was like good premonitions, bad premonitions. So I was like, all right, this name could work, like regardless of us like being good guys or bad guys, like we can still use this either way. Like it'll be something like pertaining to us specifically. And then we told them, and they were just like, no, that's not gonna work. You guys aren't gonna do that name. Like, no, it doesn't fit you. We're like, okay. So then we're just sitting there in the training session, and I'm just going through my head like, if they don't like that name, they're not gonna like any other name that we came up with. So,
Voltron, no.
And Paul always said like, try to like come up with something that's pertaining to what's going on now, like current events or something. And I'm like, there's no real current events that can pertain to two black kids from New Haven, Connecticut right now. And I was
Paul had a real 80s mindset. Like he like,
oh god,
Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo. No.
like he like those like Sergeant Slaughter, Hulk Hogan's, like your real like animated superhero type characters. It was just like, how are we gonna come up with that? I don't know.
Like, so we were trying to figure out anything that could pertain to us, and then I was just like, we're from New Haven, like let's just go with the Haven. And then people were like, that works, and I'm like, the most simple name ever.
Right? He just threw it out there, and it just like, yeah, cool. I'm just like, okay, fine.
Well, I'm gonna steal a question from Jack. You guys' gear, it matches, it's great. How did you guys come up with the color scheme?
It's based off of, I'm not sure if you know the anime. Do either of you watch anime? No. Oh, that's all anime in the back. I'm
No,
sorry, I can't.
no, I
I
don't
can't
watch
remember.
anime. This is not anime. It's other stuff. But no, I don't watch. I'm familiar with it. I
All right.
surround myself with people who are familiar with it.
Well, there's an anime called JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, and there's
Ah, I know that. I
yeah,
too know that. Yeah.
and so I'm assuming you know Dio and his stand Zoroto.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's what our gear is based off of. Jay has the Dio gear. I have the stand gear. So, and I came up with those. I drew those. I was sitting on them for a few months before we actually got them made because I don't know. I didn't know how I felt about it. I was tweaking it a little bit here and there, and then I I think it was when because the way I had designed it originally, I didn't like it, and then Jay was like, "Yo, put suspenders on my belt," and I was like, "Okay, let me see how that looks." I drew it up, drew it with the belts, the suspenders. I was like, "This looks pretty nice now. This looks pretty nice." And then we sent it over to. I sent the design over to Coy Phillips on Facebook, and he had just this great material. Like the yellow gold material that he had was just like phenomenal. We were like, "Yeah, use that." And
Shout out to
then
Chris.
this the shiny silver, the shiny green, everything just all the colors just went together, popped like the slight purples and stuff like that. Everything just looked great.
All right, Jack.
Yeah, the gear is super cool, and I've got a whole lot of nerdy knowledge, but anime and manga just haven't really been my thing. But my son will know all about it, and he'll be psyched to hear about that because when you guys came out, I think he saw you guys wrestle at Blitzkrieg Pro for the first time, and he's like, "Well, the gear is so cool," and he was immediately like sucked in by the look you guys had. And you guys seem like really grounded and humble. So when I ask this, I'm trying to just bear in mind the reason I'm asking is, unless I'm wrong, you guys have only been wrestling professionally for like 2 years, right? So it's a really short period of time. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah.
Three, like a tiny bit of change. That's like doing shows actually like since like debut. But how long been training for? Since 2018, like February 2018.
Beginning of March 2018, we started
Yeah.
training.
So I mean, it's not much time at all, and like, oftentimes Lewis and I will liken a lot of the professional wrestling world to the world of comic books. And I know
Hmm.
most artists I know, they didn't get to Marvel and DC or even to some of the mid-tier companies within 2 years. You hustle in the indies. Sometimes you get paid, sometimes you don't, and then eventually you hope to get noticed, and you go on from there. But in a very, very short period of time, you guys have gotten a huge spotlight on you in some of the biggest and best companies in the Northeast. So, like Wrestling Open, again, we talked about that. You guys have got a big spotlight on you right now, which to me is huge. We already mentioned the match you guys had with Miracle Generation, which was astounding. And then
Hmm.
just now we're hearing that you guys are going to be taking on Even Stevens on Thursday, right?
Yes.
And so that's going to be for the Eliminator Cup tournament.
No,
Nah.
Oh, it's not.
not for the tournament.
And Dustin and Kai, they got us up out of here.
Yeah,
Sadly.
that was our first round and our last round.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm mixing up my stuff. But despite that, I mean, I had never to this point, and bear with me because I don't remember every single week. Lewis has a different kind of memory than I do. But like, I don't remember seeing like promos featuring just you guys. But then just today, I saw that clip that you guys did where you found out who your opponents were on Thursday. And it just seems like all of a sudden you're a big focal point. Like, I think it was just last week too. There was, or maybe the week before, there was just 2 weeks ago. Sorry. There was a focus on you guys where Rich had you in the ring and was interviewing you, which in my experience with Pro Wrestling Open doesn't happen that often. It's usually just match after match and there's not a ton of actual interview time. To me, that felt really special. Like, how did you guys feel about that? Did that feel like a prestige spot?
You about to talk, Jay? Or?
I was looking at you. Like,
No, it felt good because we don't really get on the mic as much, and like you said, every week is usually just match after match after match. And that one week, they had us go out and talk about the match with Dustin and Kylon, and I think it was very helpful for us because we got to like express how we have been feeling over the past few weeks. Because like I said during the interview, the first few weeks of Wrestling Open, our future wasn't looking too bright. Like, we were losing here and there. We had a few W's in our pocket, but at the same time, we were still growing and learning. Like, even though we've been a tag team since day one, like, there's still things that we're working on, like, putting together and, like, perfecting. So it felt good to have that little spotlight on us. And then even Stevens wanted to come and ruin it. So
They want to start a
here we
little
are,
session with us. So.
Yeah, here we are, 2-3 weeks later?
Well, we're looking forward to that match. I'm really pumped to see you guys take them out. And at Blitzkrieg Pro, like, again, a company who, again, fan perspective, but I consider to be one of the top companies in the Northeast, some of the best shows that I've ever seen live around here. And you guys have kind of been blowing up over there. You guys just defeated our guest last week. We had PVV on, him and Leary, a message to you, like, you guys beat them. That's huge. And I mean, I feel like you've really been winning the crowd over at all the companies I've seen you in, like Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Blitzkrieg Pro, Wrestling Open. And I'm hoping we're going to see you at Pro Wrestling Grind. I don't want to ask you questions that you can't talk about, but that to me seems like they've also been showcasing tag team wrestling in a big way over the last couple of shows. Is that a company that we're potentially going to see the Haven appearing in?
Right now, any company that wants us, we're coming through. We're trying to get our foot in any and every company. We're just trying to, like, take over the East Coast and start stretching, expanding, because that's what our entire group, Beast Coast, is about. Like, we're everywhere. We're trying to get in every promotion. We're trying to put our faces on everybody's screen. Let everybody know that we're here. You know?
Yeah. Like, you know, it's funny too, because I was thinking about it, and we talked about it with Perry Von Vicious a little bit last week. It seems to me, and I don't know exactly what you guys follow every week, and we'll talk about that, but I've been really getting into uncharted territory on IWTV, and it feels to me like over the last 2 years, Tennessee's really blown up in terms of the wrestling scene there. And it feels like uncharted territory, you guys would be amazing there. And there's no team like you. Is that a show that you guys watch? I mean, I don't know, again, like what you're probably, you know, eat, sleeping, and dreaming wrestling already. Do you have time to sit down and watch IWTV and look at the other territories that you want to invade?
Uncharted territory is a place that we definitely have to keep an eye on, because, you know, they snatched it up from the White Eagle, you know, saying, which is like one of our new homes now. So it's like, okay, you know what, we're gonna have to go down there and show them what's up, because they want to try to show the Northeast up. I don't want to just sit back and, you know, allow them to even think that's possible, you know.
Yeah.
Plus, you know, just promotion in general, you know, like we love to go down to the South in general and just like see like any like teams out there. Like there's one team that kind of like started around the same time as me and Shawn called the Russell Twins.
Yes.
And like I've seen them like really like blow up. I'm like, wow, I really want to like have this match at some point, you know.
Absolutely. They have grown and like been putting in that work just like us. And somewhere down the line, don't know when, but that match will definitely be happening.
That was going to be my next question. I mean, we're going to be taking a 30-second break in just a couple seconds. But my next question, and I was going to tell you guys to think about this as we go into this 30-second break, was what teams do you guys have your sights set on? And when we come back from this 30 seconds, Jay is going to answer that question first, and then we're going to get to Shawn. And then Jack is going to have some questions for you right after that. So we're going to take a quick 30 seconds. And when we get back, Jay is going to answer that question.
BST presents Mega Clash, August 20th from the Raffola Center in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Watch newly crowned Monarch champion Evie De La Rosa defend her title against Vina Von Star. A rivalry reignited in the main event. Lucas Chase challenges Dustin Waller in a ladder match for the BST Championship. It all comes to a head one final time.
And we are back, and make sure you guys get your tickets for that. There are going to be some bangers of matches right there, and the Haven is going to be there. And make sure you come down, see Jack and I as well. And Alternate Universe LLC, this another sponsor of the Angry Geeks, is going to be there as well. And Faces and Heels too, as well. So Jay, answer the question. What tag team do you have your sight set on?
First tag team that came to my head, when you first answer that question, I definitely need to run it back with main event.
Absolutely.
We had one encounter with them at Wrestling Open. That was our debut match there at Wrestling Open, and it's like we've grown so much since then. It's like I want to go at them one more time just to see, like, like how much not only have we grown, but how much they've grown as well. As much as I hate wrestling them because they're our brothers, Dustin and Kylon, they had the better of us last time, but it's just I know for a fact, Shawn knows for a fact, and they know for a fact as well that match could have gone either way. I need to see it happen one more time, honestly.
Okay. All right, Shawn, you?
Well, like Jay said, the main event, definitely want to run it back with them, see how much both teams have grown. The other main event, I would love to get in the ring with them as well. They're two bigger dudes, so it'd be a lot more of a challenge for both of us since we're smaller in stature. But I believe we could have a dope match with them.
Shawn's trying to shorten our careers, man. They are ginormous, bro. Come on now.
Ginormous.
I mean, Dustin and Kyle went against them, and they came out of the match fine. So, well, for the most part. But, like I said, it'll be a challenge.
I mean, you saw Jalen, man.
All right, Jay, Jack, I have one quick question before I give you the floor. Jay, that brings me to that was a great segue to a question. What was the one individual or one team where you guys, you get to the arena and you're putting on your gear and the promoter comes over and says, "Guys, you're wrestling them tonight," and you're like, "Oh," and it just like took the wind out of you? Who would it be? Who was it?
Oh man, you gonna ask this question? That's a question. We're gonna get back to that question, honestly, because on top of my head, like we felt like more excitement than anything. I'm trying to think. I don't really think there's like any like tag team that like we've like heard we're going up against. We're just like, God damn it! Like why? No.
They're so stiff. No.
It don't matter if they're stiff. We'll be stiff right back.
Okay. All right. I was just wondering. All right, Jack, the floor is yours.
So, again, I might be misinformed, but I don't know that you guys have had the gold yet. And my request from a fan perspective, my hope is that Jeremy Leary is listening, especially with that victory that he's going to remember you guys had last time. What do you think about facing MSP for the Blitzkrieg tag team titles?
That was our debut match against them at Blitzkrieg, honestly. And that match, we held our own. I want to say we could have won, but MSP is one of the top tier tag teams in this area. But running it back with them again, we definitely, because that was our second match with them. That was our first match at Blitzkrieg with them, but that was our second match with them in general. Running it back with them, we definitely know we can scout more of their moves and like more of the movements and like what they do and whatnot. So every time we go against them, we're learning, and we're moving in a way where at some point we're gonna beat them. And if it's for the Blitzkrieg Tag Championships, that would be great. We'd love to have you over there.
I mean, my son and I were both watching that show and being like, how cool would that be to see you guys take them out and become the tag team champions over there? Because I just feel like your momentum is so huge right now that I think the time is right. Because you mentioned being in the right place at the right time. To me, now is the right time and the right place. And I don't even know if you can talk about this yet, but are you guys going to be booked for either of the August shows that Blitzkrieg is doing?
I'm pretty sure we're doing both of those. That's the 28th and the 29th, or the 27th and 28th.
Yeah, the Retro World Expo. Yeah, I think it's the 28th and 29th.
Fun fact, August 28th is my birthday. I would love to get a victory on my birthday for 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row.
That would be phenomenal. So here's a question.
Well, we know Larry watches. We know he's probably watching right now. He does comment when he's watching live. He does comment, and we know he watches and we know he listens. So I think you guys just dropped the challenge. Yeah, I think you did. So Larry, book them.
Listen, they love the first match. They will love a second one, especially if we won.
There you go.
MSP is our only loss there. We've been dominant since then.
MSP
So
is our only loss. we're 3-1.
That doesn't sit well with me.
We holding it down.
Nice.
Oh, and look at this. We're getting book it. There you go. Eric himself jumping in. Book it. Yes. Jack.
Well, we're going to be looking forward to that when it happens. I feel like it's a when, not an if. And again, like another company, Pro Wrestling Grind, like I mentioned them already, I feel like they've really put a spotlight on tag team wrestling. So I'm hoping that we're going to see you guys there eventually too. But I'm not trying to pry too much information because maybe, they haven't announced anything for the upcoming shows. I know they've got 2 shows in September. So we're going to be talking to Rip when we come back at the end of August. And hopefully we're going to see you guys there because that last show, those guys tore the house down. To me, the tag teams took over for the first show ever with Pro Wrestling Grind. So I'm hoping you guys will be doing more of that. And this coming Wednesday, a week from tomorrow, AEW is going to be in Worcester. And again, I was on a car ride with my son today, and we were talking about having you guys on tonight. And he's like, do you think those guys will be on AEW when we go? And it just made, and again, I don't know how much you want to talk about the behind the scenes stuff, but how does that work? Like, is that something you've thought about? Like, is AEW a company that you would specifically want to be on today? Or is that like, how does that work for you? Is it something like you send tapes to those guys, or you just kind of wait for people to contact you?
From what I've heard, it's kind of like an in-between kind of thing, because it's kind of like we kind of have to put ourselves out there. It's all about simply knowing the right person, for what I've heard, just to get your foot in the door. But it doesn't guarantee anything. But now AEW is like, I would definitely love to go up there, whether it be simply just doing like backstage work or like having a match on Dark or Elevation,
Right.
We've seen, Lucas up there. We've seen, guys who are very familiar would be up there. So it's just, hey, who wouldn't go up there, get that exposure, get connection to those names.
Even if we're not in a match in the ring, doing anything in the ring, we're just backstage helping around, getting to be in that environment and getting to pick people's brains that we never met before. We grew up watching them, or we've been watching them since we started training. Being able to be in that environment and soak up all that energy and that knowledge, it would be dope as hell.
Nice. I would love to see you guys, get any of those experiences there. Is there a specific tag team in AEW that if you guys had a dream match that you would book yourselves against?
The Lucha Bros.
Yeah, nice.
And Santana Ortiz.
Yeah. For me, Private Party.
Private Party too, yeah.
Yeah, they just had a great match against the Lucha Brothers. Yeah, they're incredible.
Can't forget FTR as well. That's like every tag team's dream match right there.
Yeah, wow.
That's a no-brainer.
In my personal opinion, I think FTR is the best tag team in the world today. They are. I mean, and I was not really high in them at first, but now it's like everything I see them to do, it just blows me away week after week. Eric is coming in saying Bear Country.
Bear Country too. Yeah, I would love to wrestle them. That would be another challenge.
Yeah, I can definitely see.
If you end up seeing this, Drew.
The House of Black.
Fuck it, Drew. Fuck it.
That would be a dream match from my perspective.
You know what? That'd probably be the match right there. If Drew came into us was like, or anybody was like, yeah, you guys got Bear Country now, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say the House of Black. I'm like, Jack, you want these two to get killed? Come on. No.
Oh my goodness. I love Malachi too. He was one of my favorites. Before I started training. So I'd be shitting and embrace by the same time. I'd be like, oh my god, Malachi. Oh.
Jackie, you're insane. The House of Black. No, we want these guys to excel, to elevate, to build up. Then they can go after the House of Black.
It's
My
true,
God.
I'm just putting together.
Brody King would just be like, I'll take it both on. No. Merch. You guys got your own merch.
Yep.
What was it like selling your very first piece of merch?
Oh,
Not to a family member, to an outsider.
listen. Well, in our rookie year, right? When we first got our blue shirts, I'm not sure if I had mine on me in my drawer still. I know it's somewhere in the house, but like when we first got like our first like t-shirts and we brought them to a show, I remember the moment we pulled the box out, we like the crowd just swarmed our section, and we're just like yo, like take our money now. And like the sad part was like we were selling those shirts for like dirt cheap because we just didn't know any better. We didn't really know our worth. We didn't know that they loved us that much. It's too late to change anything about that now, but it's just like, oh man, like hopefully like, you know, we get like our new merch, which is coming real soon. Hopefully we can replicate that same, you know, success, you know.
This the current merch. This the merch.
Hold on, Sean. 1 second.
All right.
There you go.
Nice.
You see, we got the nice Black Haven hoodie. We have all t-shirts.
Bring it up a little bit. Bring it up a little bit.
Well.
Pull it back up.
I'm about to show the other one.
Oh, all right, and that's all the time we got for Sean. No.
We got black, pink, green, all that.
Nice.
Bring it up so we can see the artwork. That is really nice.
That was drawn by Sean himself.
Yeah.
You did that, Sean? Really?
Yes. I've been drawing since I was like real young, so I just combined two of my passions.
Wow. Nice. Yeah. I didn't know that. We learned something huge tonight, Lewis.
Yes, we did. So Jack, here's somebody. I just asked Sean your favorite question. Did you draw that?
Sean, at comic book conventions, the number one thing that annoys me and most artists is someone will come up. There's a giant banner behind me with my name on it. I've got my artwork in front of me, and they'll be like, "Did you draw this?"
His name is on his name, the green arrow, Jack Purcell, and people go, "Oh, did you draw this?" I'm like, no. No.
And it took 10 minutes for it to happen. I texted Lewis, and 10 minutes in, I said, "Did you draw that?" And he knew exactly what I was talking about.
Eric, yes, Eric says that he need that.
Yes.
So where can they find that? I mean, we're going to ask you this a little bit later, but since you brought that merch up, where can they find that?
They would have been able to find it on Pro Wrestling Tees if I was able to upload our logo onto there. Apparently, because I'm not sure if you guys recognize, it's also anime based from Hunter x Hunter. Right?
Yeah.
The logo from Hunter x Hunter and made it into Haven. So I'm not sure what Pro Wrestling Tees is on. I think they think I just copy and pasted a logo, so they wouldn't let me post it. But we are looking at other websites and whatnot to put our very first logo on there, put this design up there, put the next design up there, and I have like a few more designs that we have coming out soon. So
nice. Well, selfishly, Sean, I want to see more of your artwork. I'm hoping next time I corner you at a show, I could see more of your drawings.
Definitely, I'll get my.
And then he's going to ask you, "Did you draw that?"
Speaking of designs, Jack, where'd you get your shirt? Because I just like really took the time to look at it. And I'm like, oh, that's so dope. Like,
well, let me do solo layout for you, Jack. There you go.
Oh, that's wavy.
Yeah, I thought he turned his mic off real quick, or his camera was real quick to gatekeep it. But
so can you talk, Jack? Jack, talk.
He doesn't want some of the details.
No.
He is gatekeeping.
Yes, he is. A little bit. Anyway, yeah, he just went away. He'll be back in a second. Anyhow, I believe Jack got that from his girlfriend. He also has an Ultimate Warrior shirt like that as well. So, where are you guys booked next time?
Tomorrow we are at Fight Life Pro.
Yep, we're at Fight Life tomorrow. It's going to be us and Kailan as Miracle Generation going against
Young, Dumb, and Broke.
Yep, Young, Dumb, and Broke.
Young, Dumb, and Broke. All right, now where are you guys? Jack's back. Shh. What happened?
I
You
don't
got kicked
know.
out?
It all
Jack, you
went
can't
back.
escape me,
I
Jack.
don't know what happened.
Where'd you get your shirt, Jack?
In the Rey Mysterio
It was
shirt.
like Malachi Black.
And he froze again.
Tough.
Because he's on his phone. He's very unprofessional. He crashed his laptop.
He's shut out. I'm gonna find him.
I know. Jack crashed his. There you go. Jack, they want to know where you got your shirt from.
Oh my God, my girlfriend, who's the best, just got it for me today from. I don't want to promote the WWE's merch too much, but on the WWE merch shop.
Oh, word.
Say, I told you it was his girlfriend, didn't I, guys?
You did.
She's the best. Yeah.
Yes, I told you that.
I'm sorry.
They were. No, it's okay. I was just following up with your questions, asking the boys where they were going to be next. So continue, Jack, with your last 15 minutes Hall of Fame questions. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I got sidetracked by all that because I was appreciating Shawn's artwork, and so Shawn, I'm sorry if I dropped out before this, but selfishly, I want to see more of your artwork sometime. So if I corner you at a show, I want to see more of the skills because that was awesome.
I got you.
But having said that, I'm looking forward to the next merch drop, and hopefully Pro Wrestling Tees gets their act together. But maybe there's even other websites that would be better suited. So having said that, we wanted to make sure, because we've got less than 15 minutes left, do you guys have dates that we can throw out and talk about now where our listeners can come see you? Because we don't want to scramble during that last couple minutes.
This is why I step back because I'm horrible, absolutely horrible at remembering dates. The rest of the American generation knows this. They get on my ass about it all the time.
I'm not the best with the dates, but off the top of my head.
So you guys are saying you need a manager?
That would be helpful. That would be real helpful. I'm not going to lie.
My rates are cheap.
How much you charging?
We'll talk.
Got you.
Okay.
How about you do it for a hot dog and a handshake?
Yeah.
That's what Jack pays me. No.
But yeah, so tomorrow we have Fight Life. Thursday is Wrestling Open. Friday we are going to be, I believe it's in Massachusetts, right? For NRG, company called NRG, Gladiator Wrestling. And then next week we have just found out that we were booked for Chaotic next on the 29th.
Nice.
Friday. And then we just got put on for Remarkable Wrestling, the 30th.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's a full schedule.
And Remarkable Wrestling, that will be round 2 of the Haven versus Miracle Generation. So definitely be sure to check that
the
out.
opening round of a tag team tournament.
Once again.
Wow.
So
wow, that's huge. That's awesome. So having said that, we've talked strictly about tag team matches, and I'm wondering, you guys don't seem like the types to say no to too much. So if GCW came to you guys and said, we're looking for you to be in a thumbtack barbed wire blowing shit up match, would that be anything that would cause you to hesitate, or would you just jump right in?
I think Jay would jump right in, and then I would just have to jump in with him.
Is GCW like getting the foot in the door at GCW? I would say like, oh yeah, barbed wires. Oh man, I don't know. I'll take one for the team. Honestly, I will take one for the team just to get that foot in the door.
No,
Have you guys been in any matches like that? Have you been in like any super hardcore matches?
Not super hardcore, just like your common like street fights.
We've been in ladder matches. How many ladder matches have we done? One. All right. Yeah, one ladder match against the House of Pain. We're in a street fight back in the XWA days, where Jay dropped the world onto somebody on some steps. That was cool.
Yeah, leave to me to draw somebody head first on some steps. Yeah. You need someone taken care of, just call me. You know, send for Onyx Man.
Send the Onyx Man.
So here's another question. Do you guys have a preference in terms of like when you show up and they let you know who the opponents are? If you're in a trios match as opposed to a tag team match, does it matter to you?
Not really. Like this past week, Brother Greatness put himself in our match that was supposed to be originally us and Even Stevens, and we just called up our boy Ichiban, the 5th member of Miracle Generation, the 5th man.
Nice.
He
'Cause
can't
it feels
understand
like
this. We just call him and be like, yeah, apparently they have a third, guy, so we need a guy. He just goes Ichiban and just hangs up, and it's just like he's like, is that yes or no? I'm just like, I don't know. So
I'm trying to learn how to speak Ichiban. Kailan is up there with him. He sells the merch and stuff with him. I'm close. I'm getting there. I know number one.
yeah, yeah. We'd
I'll
have an
always
easy
say
interview with him if he was on the show.
I would
he
just
gets
be like Smiley. That's
Yeah.
all. Just like
Yeah.
Smiley. And
I always say I feel bad for him because I can only imagine he gets hungry on the road. He has to stop at McDonald's. All he has to say is number one. That's the only meal he can eat there. He might want a 10-piece nugget. Or he can only get the Big Mac because it's the number one meal. Like, I feel terrible.
And that's where we come in to translate for him.
That's awesome.
well, speaking of being on the road, and I know we're running out of time. What are your eating habits on the road?
Not the best.
I knew it because Shawn just like Shawn. This is my invitation to Shawn after that question. Oh, he got me.
Honestly, it's not
when
often
was
that we
it,
eat before the show, but like
Okay.
if usually after the show it's whatever is available, which is like late, because you get out 11
Yeah,
or past
it's
midnight.
McDonald's, it's the Burger King, Dutch's,
Yeah.
Wendy's. Okay.
Right. Plus, you don't want to spend all your pay at a restaurant, so it's just something cheap and open.
Right.
Okay. Jack, go ahead.
All right, yeah, the eating thing threw me off. So the other thing that I kind of discovered when we actually had Flash and Kylon on a few weeks back, and they were kind of explaining to the listeners that the Miracle Generation is a group that I think consists of 5 people, right? So it's those guys, you two, and Ichiban. Does that sound accurate? Like, do you guys consider yourselves like a brotherhood among the 5 of you?
It originally started with the 4 of us: Kylon, Dustin, myself, and Jay, because we all trained together. Like, since day one, it was what Dustin had came in, then we had came in, and then Kylon had came in, and like from training to matches, like we would just all like be traveling all around the place together, and people would just always know that we're together. Any shows that we went to, you would see the 4 of us together. So we were just actually, it was Jay's idea to like put us together as a group, like under the umbrella of Miracle Generation. And so like Ichiban, he would travel around with us as well, and he would be in the matches with us, be around us, whatnot, and people just put him synonymous with us. And he's a brother of ours. So yeah, he just
The honorary
a
fifth member. He's just we need someone who's like, okay, we know a guy. Ichiban's the first person we call.
Yeah.
Nice. So we're going to run out of time in like 6 minutes. So I'm going to throw this out there. I'm going to try to say it succinctly because I'm not trying to talk badly about any particular company, but especially being from Connecticut, do you guys have like specific companies in your list of goals that you're thinking about working for? Like, is WWE, say, for instance, a company where you would want to get a tryout for them? Or is that something you'd want to steer away from? Because I don't really know if you are in love with their product or maybe aren't interested in going that route.
WWE for me would be like I'd be like so half and half on it. Not only like not like anything on their part, but it's just like me. I know like how I can be in high pressure situations. I'm a nervous wreck. So like if WWE is like, oh yeah, we're gonna give you guys a trial, I'm like, oh. I'm gonna be like so nervous. Oh, I hope I don't mess up. Like, but honestly, I was like mainly like huge on NXT. I love Black and Yellow NXT to death. NXT 2.0 is like I love how like they're like revamping everything. They're giving new guys a chance. Like we knew Carmelo before he got signed, and like now seeing him like thrive there now, it's like oh shit, like
it gives that sense of like hope that that mindset like he can do it, we can do it as well. Just got
Of course you can. No, of course you can. You guys are phenomenal. Like I said, when I first saw you come out, my first thought when I saw you start working, I was like, holy hell. I mean, this is like watching Marty and Shawn back together again. And then when I saw you at Blitzkrieg, I was like, my God, would these guys just get on the mat? I'm getting sick here. This is amazing. So you guys are definitely top notch. You can do it. You set your minds to it. You're gonna put it out there to the universe. You can do it. I mean, you're your own people. You're your own your own destiny. You guys can do this.
In my mind, it wouldn't even be a question of whether you could do it or not. It would just be a question of whether you want to or not. And I don't even know how it works. Like with NXT, I know that some of the guests we've had on said that they connected with WWE and they offered them a tryout. Like, is that something that you guys would actively pursue? Like, do you contact them and say, hey, we're fans of what's going on NXT 0.20. Here's some of our matches. Can we get a tryout? Like, I don't even know how that would work.
Yeah, personally, I'm not 100% sure on how that works. Like Jay said earlier, it's really about who you know, like networking. Like some people are like in close contact with people that are in WWE or NXT or something like that, and then they'll like brother it down to one of their friends or something like that. But we just haven't had that opportunity yet. But definitely, like we're just working towards that opportunity. For me personally, WWE isn't a short-term goal. It's a long-term goal. So I'm not even too worried about getting there now. Like I know we have a lot of growth in us, and personally, like the indies, like we're learning a lot, and I know we're gonna just learn a whole lot more before we even touch WWE.
Yeah, right. No, for sure. And again, like it feels like you guys are setting all the big companies on fire. So I'm hoping that you're staying around the Northeast for as long as possible, selfishly. But also, I can't wait to see you guys turning up in other territories, just because I think ultimately New England can't contain you for that long.
Right. That way I can get a hamburger and a handshake for managerial duties and not a hot dog and a handshake.
Hey, as you get the sign-on bonus, man.
That's a cheeseburger.
Yep.
Guys, once again, before we run out of time, please tell everyone where they can find the Haven on social media, where if they want one of those shirts and they're not available right now on Pro Wrestling Tees, but if they want to order one, let's get them. Let's get you guys some cash. How can they get one today? Can they contact you? Can they PayPal you? Let's get that out there right now. Let our audience know.
We got PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, all that. Just hit us up on the socials on Instagram. x.shimmy.215. On Twitter.
Is there a way I could like change my display name so I could like put my ad up there? I'll probably like leave it in the back, right?
Yeah.
Hold, give me like 1 second. I'm gonna join back in 2 seconds so I can have my yep.
All right, while he's doing that, yeah, on Twitter
we can talk about him.
215, on Twitter and Instagram, look up the Haven 203, DM us, email us. If you need hoodies, shirts, whatever. Hoodies we usually do by order, so whatever size you need, whatever color you want, let us know. We'll get it done for you. And then just pop out to a show. You changed your name to the Onyx Man. Oh my God.
The actual my socials are it's right there. You know, that's my Instagram, my Twitter. If it's easier, so they can also just look up, Jay Onyx. Say you can find me like on like Facebook and stuff.
Right.
But yeah.
We're trying to get you money, not a date.
Listen, it gets on sometimes, Lewis.
Listen, that's pretty boy. That's why I just let him rock.
Listen, what they gonna tell us, bro? One in every state. You never have to pay for a hotel ever again.
Oh, good advice, Jack. Please tell everyone.
Always a ladies' man.
Jack, please tell everyone where they can find great artwork, one-of-a-kind commissions, and where they can find you across the social medias.
Yeah, well, you know what? If any of you guys are in the Boston area, I'm going to be at Fan Expo Boston on the weekend of the 12th, 13th, and 14th in August. So that's going to be really fun. And you can find me on Patreon, patreon.com. You just look up Jack Purcell. And I've got a bunch of my pro wrestling artwork up there, as well as my comic book stuff. I really don't put a lot of my finished work online anymore. So it's always on Patreon. And it's a good way to get some cheap commissions. If you're into that kind of thing, you can find me at Jack Purcell Inc. on Facebook and Instagram, Faces and Heels right here on Facebook, Faces and Heels Podcast on Instagram. And then we got this cat.
You can find me every Monday night live on the Angry Geek Show, and soon at the end of the month, we're going to be on Roku, we're going to be on Pod TV, and I just found out, not only on Roku, we're going to be on the Amazon Fire Stick. So just look up the Angry Geek Show, and pretty sure soon after that, Faces and Heels, we're going to be right alongside us. And every Tuesday night with this cat, my brother from another mother, my tag team partner like no other, Ink Slinging Jack Purcell. I am Lewis Perry. That's Jack Purcell. This is The Haven. Buy some t-shirts, go to an indie show, and see them. We will talk to you guys next week, so stay safe, San Diego.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation. Found on earplugpod-cast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.